next we have Lisa Ann. Hi, Lisa
Hello,
Ann.
Michael. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing positively awesome.
That's
Thanks
right.
for asking.
I love it.
What a great
You
day for everybody, huh?
Oh yeah. This has been such a it's funny because coming up to launch day, there's always a little bit of pressure, um, where you go, okay, we're doing everything we can, and we also have to deal with an algorithm. Nobody knows how Amazon's algorithm works or when things get awarded, but to wake up this morning, we were number 3 in the category already before the first email even went out was really, really great. So, and that's in part to you for writing a great chapter on one of my favorite
Thank
topics,
you. Thank you.
manifestation. And I love that. I love there's been a shift, by the way, because when the secret came out, everybody was talking about the law of attraction, and there became this sort of myth that all I have to do is meditate on things and they'll fall in my lap. But manifestation is the real picture. Law of attraction is a tiny part of that. Law of attraction is the alignment
Exactly.
part. Then we have to do all the rest of the stuff to manifest. So, tell me what got you into manifestation and how you got here and writing this chapter in this book.
I mean, honestly, it's funny because I've listened to so many of your classes and workshops, and so much of the stuff that you talk about is exactly how I have felt over these years. So I'll save the 9-hour story about my whole life, but everything that everybody's been talking about today is these negative things that happen in our lives. I
Mm.
call them like rerouting points. And I used to joke around that if you look up bad luck and unfairness in the dictionary, my picture was there. And I remember just waking up one day and I was doing like a lecture or a workshop and talking about like all these things I had been through. And in the middle, like I literally had these little index cards. And in the middle of speaking, I thought to myself, I don't want to be that person anymore. Like, that's not
Mm.
who I am. I don't want to be that story. And I started thinking about like all these opportunities and directions that I could go in. And then it hit me. So I have owned Spirit Quest Healing Center we just celebrated our 24th year. And I've been doing what I do for it's going to be almost 28 years. And I was so good at helping other people manifest what they wanted, but I could never seem to get it to work for me. And as I started thinking about it, if you were a friend of mine and you needed something, I could manifest it for you and help you to
Mhm.
manifest it in a minute. But if it was something for myself and I couldn't, and I think that's what put me on this deep dive. And I realized like The Secret and all these things, they left out the most important part. And I think that is that you have to feel deserving.
Ah,
And
huge.
that set me, like, even when I say it, I get emotional. And I think like, you know, I don't, people could read my story online, it's neither here nor there, but I think the reason why I was so excited to be able to do this live today is I just like, I want to talk to anybody and everybody who's watching this today and just say, I remembered, I know you can relate to this because we have a lot in common in our lives.
Yeah.
I remember, and I'm going to try to get through this without crying. I remember laying in bed and my outside world looked so great to everybody, but my inside world wasn't. And I
Mm.
always say you could be surrounded by 1,000 people and feel so alone. And
Yeah.
we all go through those moments where we don't know how to get out of our own way. We know that we don't want to stay where we are, but we don't have the tools. And I think my message today, I am a living, breathing example of this. I don't care where you are in this moment. And you know what? None of us is going to sit here and go, you're going to read this book and your life is just magically going to change. The
Right.
book is going to tell you what you need to know because mindset, it's all about mindset. And
Yeah.
if you don't do the work, none of the other stuff is going to matter. So I don't care. Like if you're watching this in this moment, there's a reason why you're here. It's not
Yes.
a coincidence. And, I just want to say this, like, I cannot say, and I know a couple of people have mentioned this, but I cannot say enough about you and your team. And I will tell you on a personal level, I have a lot going on behind the scenes with someone who is very ill that I've been the support person for the last few months.
Mhm.
And every time I would say to my husband, I don't know if I could do this. I have too many priorities. I have to be there for this person. I would hear your voice in my head. And even, just the support of the week. So, we would have our weekly meetings and we would touch base with each other through the process of writing this book. And I think that's the other message I have for people. People, they don't always reach out. And there's so many of us. I mean, look at all the people that are on here today. There are so many of us. We have been there. We have done it. We are in a different place now. We still have a lot. We're always growing and changing. I'm always learning. I mean, my life just changed just taking a hypnosis weekend class with Transform Destiny right before COVID.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out why I was there. I've run my business so long. Why am I there? What am I doing there? And I've said this to you before, if I had no idea like what I learned in that, and then that just went on to the next thing. So my message to anybody who's watching this today is you can do it.
Yeah.
We did it. You can do it. Focus on the mindset, and you have to feel deserving. And I always joke around. I know I heard you hear this one time. I always tell people, throw out those stupid sticky notes, because if you're posting sticky notes all around, but you don't really feel deserving,
yeah,
that's just a piece of it. It's not the solution to it.
Yeah. And I think, there is, there are, I always talk about, there are these messages that are taught to us when we're young. And sometimes we're 2 or 3 years old when we hear these things. Like you've probably heard me talk about stranger danger before.
Oh my God, yes.
I think it's the root cause of social anxiety disorder, which is plaguing people in the world right now, because we were taught at a very young age that strangers are dangerous. And now, thankfully, they're starting to change the message. The message is now, don't be aware of strangers, be wary of strange people. Children are intimately aware of when somebody's strange, but strangers are great people. Strangers are wonderful people. They're 99% of them have wonderful intentions and are great. But that message gets grown up with us deep in the subconscious mind. And I feel like this whole thing about deserving is one of those things. Our parents, especially the older generations, they taught us when we were younger that we had to work for everything. Right. You don't deserve it unless you worked for it. But, one of the things that I've learned over the years, and this is one of the keys to my successes, I've learned that I don't have to work to be wealthy. What I have to do is provide massive value to people. Can I do that without working? Yes. That's how Kayla and I traveled the world full-time for 5 years, working only a few hours a day, because there are ways, especially now with technology, that you can take what you know and package it, right? You can publish a book, for example. This book guaranteed will outlive me, right? Guaranteed. All of my books will. Probably my home studies will, because years ago, one of my values shifted. I used to have a value that was called the ripple, right? Which is the idea that one person can't change the world, but one person could be like that pebble in the pond and create a ripple effect through others. And so that was part of my mission, was to be the pebble and create the ripple. But that value shifted for me about 11 years ago. And it just shifted in label. But, we talk about linguistics a lot and how things mean. The label became so much more important because it includes the ripple. But my value became legacy. And for the first time ever, the whole idea that I want what I leave behind, Steve Jobs said it himself. I want to leave an indelible mark on the earth that said that I was here.
Yeah.
And, that's one of the reasons why I just got goosebumps. It's one of the reasons why I love doing things like this. We can have an impact that goes far beyond our physical existence here in this plane. It's so powerful.
I love NLP because, I've been doing psychic work. So I'm more from the spiritual background. I did psychic work for years. I still do it, healing work. And one of the things that I learned really early on, and I'm probably like the enemy of most psychics because I work completely different. Like I'm all about taking your power back. Right?
Yeah.
Not like, what am I supposed to do? And when I realized, like, people were always coming to me and going, what are the cards telling me to do? Yeah. And I'm like, no, what do you want to do? Yeah. And the thing that like breaks my heart is when I'm working with people, whether you call it intuitive gut instinct, whatever you feel comfortable calling it, like I see the lives people could have. And I could never I always joke around with my clients, if I had a superpower, my superpower would be, I would want to be able to plug you into my head so you could see what I see for you.
Mm,
That would be my superpower.
I
And
love it.
I feel like NLP is that link. It's that technique that you need. It's that information that you need to help people see what their full potential is. And we all, and I did this for years, like I think we all think someone has some secret formula that we don't have access to. Oh, well, they were born wealthy, or
Yeah.
oh, their parents own their own business, or oh, their husbands are paying for that, whatever. Like everybody always thinks someone has something.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, I've worked with so many people, and it's such a blessing because I've known a lot of people for the entire years that I've been doing this work. So I was there for the journey with them,
Yeah.
right? And the only difference between the people who are successful, and when we say successful, I don't only mean money, I mean health, I mean relationships, I mean living your life like you're talking about, traveling and just really, living your soul life, right?
Yeah.
The only difference between the people that are successful and the people that aren't are the people that are successful felt deserving and they never gave up.
Mm,
That's the other big thing,
yeah.
right? People think like they hit a bump in the road and they're like, oh, I'm not supposed to be doing this.
Yep.
And I always think those are just like rerouting points to make you see how bad do you want it, right? And, like with you guys, your team, and, you're that piece to go, all right, here's how you get it done, right? You hit that block, here's how you move past it. Because I will tell you, there's nothing you can come up with that Michael can't find a workaround for it in the mindset world. So
I
it's
love it.
been amazing,
Yeah.
amazing.
I love what you said, that people will look at somebody and go, well, they must have an advantage of some sort. But, you look at the Forbes 400, which is the 400 richest people in the world,
Mhm.
billionaires. They're all billionaires. And I believe it's 80% of them did not come from wealth, and 60% of them don't have college degrees. Yet people will go, well, they're only successful because they inherited trust fund baby. Most trust fund babies squander their money. They don't maintain
Right.
wealth. They don't do anything of consequence with it. There are people who think that maybe it has to do with how they're raised or whatever. I don't know. But
Right.
yeah, the majority of people who inherit wealth without working for it actually don't retain it.
I was just going to say, like, look at Lotto, right? Because that's a big block. People say, oh, if I had money, right?
Yeah.
Oh, if I had money. Look at how many people win Lotto, and a year later, they have nothing left,
Yeah. There's been books written
right?
about it.
Yeah.
They could win $20 million within 2 to 5 years. They're broke. They usually have less than $0. They're in debt, and many are suicidal and depressed. They say that winning the money was the worst thing that ever happened to them.
Yeah.
So people look at these things where they go, oh, well, that person went to an Ivy League college. How many people go to an Ivy League college and end up making a $30,000, $40,000 a year salary doing
Right.
nothing, right? But most of the time, these people, there's something deeper. There's something that they're really passionate about, which is, I love that you tapped into that. There's a passion
Mhm.
that drives them. And, a deservingness definitely is like the rocket booster for it. I think there are some people who achieve success without feeling deserving.
Right.
I've talked about some of those public figures. I feel like Tiger Woods is one of those people who's so away motivated, he succeeded. Most
Hmm.
people who are away motivated don't succeed. They sabotage in life. They go up and down. Well,
Right.
he succeeded for so long because he hit the ceiling. But then, now look at his life the last 10 years. He's got that sabotage
Hmm.
cycle. And I do feel like it's obviously outside projection. But
Right.
I think people can achieve success without deserving, but it's so hard. And then it's not worth it.
Right.
The deservingness, the knowing that you came here for a reason and you deserve to have success and you deserve to have happiness. It doesn't mean you don't have to work for it, because there's a difference between deserving and earning, right? But it doesn't mean you don't have to put any, action or effort into it.
Right.
But you deserve it just by birth, right?
And
You
what's
know?
crazy is, like, I always tell people, everybody really knows what they need to do deep down inside.
Yeah.
I always say, like, the irony about what I do for a living is nobody really ever needs to come to me,
Yeah.
because in your heart, your soul, whatever you feel comfortable calling it, what your passion's really about. You just need that feeling of feeling deserving to go ahead and get the book, so you learn the tools to get it.
I love it. So other than in the book, where can people find you?
So the easiest, spiritquestnc.com. I have a wonderful healing center I'm actually in Southern Pines, North Carolina. So we're
Nice.
in a cute little area, and I love my life. My husband and I run the healing center. I have like the greatest clientele. I've been getting text messages and emails all day long. It's been an amazing day. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the
Congratulations,
opportunity.
#1 best-selling author.
Thank you.
I love it. All right. Thanks for coming on.
Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you
Thank
for the
you.
opportunity.
You too.
Bye.